Okay, good evening. This is Stephen Smith, your instructor for ITSE 2309. I have two purposes in recording tonight. One is just to get you familiar with the recording, and two is to try out my brand new set of my wireless headset that I just got. I usually like to wear it on the side of my head like this so it doesn't cover my ears. That way I can hear things going on around me. And let's see, so I'm going to be covering a few things tonight. I want to cover a little bit about the class Canvas page. This is the class Canvas page. It just went live. It is now published. Although I don't know whether you can see it before the first day of class or not. You probably can't. It's okay. You'll see it after that. This is where we will get all of our assignments, and from our modules, we're going to go through the modules pretty much in order. In the order that they are here. It's not necessarily the same that they are in the textbook. For example, Module 3 and Module 4 says non sequitur. That means it's not in the right order for the text, but that's okay. We're going to cover it in the order that it is here. And then we'll come back to the textbook for Chapter 3. I'll explain why I made that choice. As you go through the modules, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't correspond necessarily to the chapters, but I tell you what the chapters are. For example, Module 5 is Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and so on. Test 1, I don't know whether you'll be able to see Test 1 or not because I haven't published it yet. You'll probably see 6 and 7, and then Test 1 comes between 6 and 7. That's okay. I don't care if you see it here. And test 2 comes between 11 and 12, and then you'll be able to see it when it's necessary to see it. And the main one I wanted you to see is down here at the very bottom where it says recorded lectures. Okay, here you will find software setup, and if you look at software setup, here are these links that I sent to you. So if you click this, you can view my setup installation instructions. And in fact, you will find this lecture that I'm recording right now will appear as the next one. It will appear as a later one. There'll be number 2, will probably be like welcome to the class or something like that, which is basically I'm trying to get a voice level and see how this thing is working and make sure that I'm recording correctly using my new Christmas present here. Let's see. What else did I want? So there'll be another one in here, and that's well, you will have seen it by the time you get. I might send this one out by email. We'll see. I want to talk a little bit about. Well, let's talk a little bit about the syllabus. This is as you open the syllabus is linked from the home page. One of the first things you can do is download the syllabus from right here, and you can view it. Double check and make sure we can. And this one says, well, I'm not getting you should download it and save it. And as you download this, if you don't save anything else, save this first page, the one that says the real course syllabus. The real course syllabus for ITSE 2309 is what you really need to know about this class in one page. The rest of it goes into 6 or 7 pages for the official course syllabus. All that's really, really, really important, I know. But we put all that boilerplate in there. It turns into a regular student handbook. So I've tried to boil it down into one page for you, which I think you really have to know. Your instructor, me, does not initiate drops for students. I won't drop you from this class. You signed up for this class. You're going to stay in this class until you deal with it. So if you stop attending, it doesn't drop you from the class. Important dates here, and there will be one departure from that. My exercises will all have due dates. However, my due dates are soft. Now, soft means that I do not impose a penalty for being past the due date. But that said, if you are an online student, let me warn you, getting behind is fatal. Okay, this class moves fairly quickly. Do not get behind. But if you do miss a due date, you don't have to kill your grandmother. It's okay. Just turn it in when you get it turned in. That's the nice thing about this Canvas setup, is that I don't have to keep track of them. So as you turn it in, and it'll be okay. I do not impose a penalty if you're past the due date. Now that said, don't get behind. I have both face-to-face sections. You're both in this Canvas section. So if the online doesn't work, come to class. If the class doesn't work for you, if your work hours change, you move to an online format. That's up to you. You may do it as you choose. There is certainly a cutoff date. The cutoff date for spring is Friday, May 10th at 11:59. No excuses. Okay, so by then you've had the whole semester to get everything in, and if it's at 12:01 on May 11th, 12:01 a.m. I'm sorry, you're past the due dates. So that is a firm, hard due date, and it may be that the due date falls after May 10th. So I might give it like a practice test or something. But and if so, then it's when it is. But let's see. Here's another important one. The spring census date is February 4th, 2019. By this date, I must have something from you that documents that you are attending class. You must take a quiz. Doesn't say you have to pass the quiz. On these quizzes, they're kind of busy work, and what they do is they let me document that you're actually attending class, and you can take them as many times as you want. So just get in there, take the quiz, just bling, 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 go through it. I don't care if you make a 0 on it, but you've turned it in, you've done something that shows that I can say, hey, look, this student actually attended, they did something, they turned something in. So then you can take it again and make 100. So you must, by February 4th, do not disappear on me before February 4th. You will be dropped on February 4th if I don't have something from you that I can say that you are here. Okay, and because we don't necessarily see everybody face to face all the time, I have to have something. I have to have something that you have turned in. So I don't demand that you show up every day, but you have to turn in something by this date, February 4th. Mark the date. Get something turned in by that date. It'll be easy. Trust me. I mean, there's easy stuff out there to do. Everything won't be easy, but there's something out there you can find. There's a quiz over the syllabus or something out there. I give you a bunch of little busy work projects that you can do just to have turned something in. For the spring of 2019, the last date to withdraw is March 22nd. Canvas, my gradebook is set that it does not count late assignments as 0. That's because I don't always get my assignments graded right on the due date. And if I am a couple of days late getting it graded, then all of your assignments show as a 0. And that makes everybody real happy. So anyway, I have my gradebook set that it just latest assignments that aren't turned in yet are just not turned in. They're not counted as 0. But that frequently causes students to have a false sense of security because it will only show the average of what has been submitted and graded. So many times if you are late on things, you should think of those as 0. I record my lectures and link them to Canvas, i.e. here. I don't usually record a video of me talking like you see up there in the corner, that little talking head up there. I happen to be at home right now. So you'll be able to see my computer screen and watch my mouse dance around on here and highlight stuff. You see what I'm talking about. If you don't have a Zoom account, get one. My personal meeting ID is given here, and you would be able to connect to Zoom at 10 a.m. each Friday. Regardless of where you are, you can connect to Zoom, and you would be able to participate online in real time on class. If you have a good microphone, you'll be able to ask questions, and I'll be able to respond to your questions as if we were on the telephone. You'd also have a chat option somewhere on here. I don't think you can see my controls down there. I have to check and see if that's so. Check the course announcements daily and on Friday before you leave to class. I commit from a pretty good distance away. If we go under severe weather warning, I may just wimp out and say, I don't want to. I've got a pretty good long ride from the train station by bicycle from the Parker Road station. So I don't want to be doing that in a hailstorm. If we go under a severe weather warning, we will still have class. Almost nothing will stop us from having class except a volcano or an asteroid strike. Excuse me. We might it might change from time to time, but if for some reason I don't make class, look for an announcement that tells you that there is a lecture posted or something, so you will be able to do this. If you miss a class, you don't have to call me and tell me you missed class. Just catch the lecture. It'll be posted on Canvas over there. The textbook, here's our textbook, Server 2016 for developers. It's not real expensive. By the way, just for your information, I use this same textbook in the next class, in the advanced database programming class. Just for your information, it's not, I will follow the textbook pretty closely, but you may use the 2012 version of that same textbook effectively in this class. At least the 2016 version is available in an ebook format that you can rent by the semester. So it's not a real expensive book, and a lot of students are going for that ebook stuff going right now. Okay, by college policy, I cannot touch your personal computer. Sorry, that's your personal stuff. You got lots of personal information there. If I find a flash drive, I cannot touch that flash drive. I cannot open that flash drive because it could have your personal information on it. I can guide you through the installation of SQL Server, but I cannot install it for you. You're going to have to install it on your personal computer. I get them installed on the class computers, and I can do that. So I can get you a computer that has it installed on it. And if the computer belongs to Del Mar, I can install it there, but I can't install it on yours. Class meets once a day, okay, we're gonna have final exam. I usually do the final exam as an online assignment. Don't miss the final. I'll tell you when somebody always misses the final. It seems like no matter how much time I can give them and leave the final open, somebody will email it to me 15 minutes after it closed. Sorry, no. You know, when it's over, it's over. So don't miss the final. Don't be late. I'm going to give you plenty of time to get it done and get it turned in. And it's not my fault if you run right up on the deadline and then you have a network glitch at the last minute. That's not my fault. So make sure that doesn't happen. Here's the official course syllabus. Read everything here. I'm sure you read it all through. Everybody see it. Read quickly. Oh, I do give you the calendar here. That's probably good for you to look at. Here is a little sample programming assignment. You don't have to do it. Just take a look at it. This would be, starting here, would be our first SQL program. This is an SQL script right here. Select from where. So this is SQL. By the way, this should run. If you copy this and drop it into your database after about the first class, it should run. It won't run quite yet because we don't have the AP_DB database built yet, but we're going to build it right away quickly here. And I'm always used to saying, because I've usually got a live audience, which I don't have right now, I'm used to saying, are there any questions? I don't know. Are there any questions? Well, if there are no questions, let me move on. And let's see, I'm going to move over here to drop down to SQL Server Tools, Microsoft SQL Server Tools, and you really should have made a, did I have a, okay, did I make a, I'm just going to go ahead and use this one. Drop him down, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. You really should make a an icon to him. But since I'm working at home, if you are not working at home, you don't have to fool with this. I'm going to go to my services. Now to get to services, I can go from here, start services, and go down to SQL Server, SQL Express. It shows me as running. So I did not, in fact, I was just working on it a few minutes ago. So mine is still running. I haven't stopped it yet. When I'm ready to quit for the night, I'll drop down here and pull down and stop it. And then if it were not running, I would right click it and I would go down to start, but it's running, so everything's fine. So now I'm ready to go into my SQL Server Management Studio. Well, I'll get there in a minute. SQL Server Tools, Server Management Studio, or I could have used my little quickie button that I put down there. It's not always the fastest thing in the world, but you know, it depends on, okay, this guy, I'm going to select the user SW Smith. I told it to remember my password. If you don't, you have to type it in. Remember, I always select SQL Server Authentication. I say always. What? Always? Maybe not always, but for right now, always. And I say connect. And I see that I have a database. My database is named ScratchDB. If I look at ScratchDB and I go to the tables, I see that I made one table in there in the setup just to test it to see if I could, and that table is named test. You can delete it if you want to. Leave the database. I want your database named Scratch_DB. I used to tell students that they could name the database anything they want, and there was some great confusion over which database I meant when I said something. So when I say Scratch database, I mean Scratch_DB. The reason I call it Scratch is it's like scratch paper, meaning that we can write anything we want to in there, and I'm not ever going to look at it. I'm never going to go check it and test it and see if yours works. I have one named Scratch also. I can run your code in my database and it'll run just fine because it's named the same thing. That's why I want it to be named the same. So if you don't have it, if it isn't named Scratch, then you right click it and delete it and recreate it being named Scratch. Okay. When you are installing SQL Server, I hope it installs right. If it does not, if your computer doesn't have enough memory, if your computer doesn't have enough available disk space, there is going to be nothing that I can do to help you. You're going to have to deal with that matter yourself. Maybe you'll need to get a better computer. Maybe you need more memory. If you have a Macintosh, I can't make it become a Windows unit. Yes, there are emulators you can get. Yes, they work with SQL Server, but you are responsible for making it work. If you have Windows 7, I recommend that you splurge and get a Windows 10 box. Now might be the time to do it. But if you do, you can install Microsoft SQL Server version 2012. Will run on Windows 7. Windows 10 SQL 2017 will not run on Windows 7. It has to have Windows 10. That said, and I really hope you don't make any mistakes. We don't make mistakes, do we? When you install your programs, your SQL, do not reinstall SQL Server. It almost never has a good outcome. Do not simply back up and say, okay, I'm going to start over with the installation. You will not have a good experience. you must uninstall everything, and it is a tedious process. Which, well, it's Microsoft. Good grief! Notice it starts with Microsoft SQL Server. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10. Okay, from here to where my mouse is. So I think there's 10 pieces of it that have to be uninstalled. If you have made a mistake and you have to take it out, you have to start at the beginning of that thing and go through it. Before you start uninstalling, make sure you go over to the services, stop the database, and now you just proceed through that thing, uninstalling all of it. Some of the things won't uninstall because they have to be uninstalled in a specific order, but if you just keep right on going and then come back to that one, it will uninstall sooner or later. So if you just keep going through it, so I hit this one and it says, you can't uninstall that because others depend on it, so I just keep on going, just skip it for now, and come back to it, and later it will uninstall. But I have to uninstall all of these guys, and then I can start over. Okay, so the name of the game is don't make any mistakes on the install. Usually you can fix something. So if if you made a mistake, like you forgot to check mixed mode authentication, you accidentally left it at um, Windows authentication, that can be fixed. I prefer if you don't do that, but it can be fixed. I can show you how to fix that. Okay, that said, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Basically, I just wanted to see how well my headset was working. Most of what I don't want to do a whole lot and then turn around and do it all again and waste your time. So I'm going to go ahead and post this video, and I just wanted to test it and see how well it was doing. So I'm going to wrap it up for the night. And I will see you then on, let's see, our first class meeting will be on Friday, January 25th will be our first class meeting. Where I will be physically present in class, so it'll be the first time that I've logged in. Now, I may come in on, let's see, Tuesday. You should be able to get to the Canvas on Tuesday, January 22nd. So I might start posting some things out there on January 22nd, but the first time I'm going to post a lecture will be on January 25th. And then I will be physically present in Spring Creek campus in I-122, the lab. And you're welcome, even if you are in the online class, you are still welcome to come. If you can sometime, then by all means feel free to. People who are in the face-to-face class, of course, are guaranteed the seats. But usually I have a lot more people in the online than I do in the face-to-face, because that's where people are going these days. Okay, so we're going to end it there, and I will see you then on Friday, January 25th. Hasta.